following is an exclusive presentation of the Carolina Panthers and the NFL.
The Panthers try to play spoiler as Drew Brees and the Saints come to town for the final game of the season.
Out of nowhere, here comes the Pro Bowl All-Pro middle linebacker to deny that touchdown reception. What a play.
Christian McCaffrey tries to cement himself in the NFL history books with 1,000 yards receiving and rushing.
This guy's breaking his own record. Look at him run, man.
And a Panthers legend is doing all he can to make an impact in the community.
Most of the time, I don't want any cameras. I'm doing it because I've lived through it and I know the impact.
This plus much more. Get ready because the huddle breaks now.
This is the Carolina Panthers Television Network. And you've stepped into the huddle. Brought to you by Power Home Solar.
Welcome inside Panthers Huddle. I'm your host, Jacinda Jacobs. We came into 2019 celebrating the Panthers' 25th season. Now, it didn't end exactly how we had hoped, but the silver lining in our silver anniversary is running back Christian McCaffrey. Going into this final matchup against the Saints, CMC had his chance to cement himself into the record books. In this week's Bojangles Rewind, it takes a village. And for CMC to make it into history, he needed the whole team to rally behind him.
When you look at the Carolina Panthers, this has been a very disappointing year in so many aspects. But what has been good is the stellar play of Christian McCaffrey. He's got a chance today, Kenny, to get 1,000 with 67 receiving yards. It'll be a fun one for him.
And that has not been done in 2 decades.
Right away, the Saints unimpressed with the Panthers' run D, and why not send it right up the middle for 5, 10, 15 yards and a first down. Murray up the middle, weaving, and then lowers his pads, dives to the 15. It is another Saints first down. The Panthers have been powerless so far to stop this New Orleans offense. Kamara in the one-back pistol behind Brees. It's Kamara through a big hole right up the middle to the 10, to the 5, banging, clanging, and a touchdown. Standing up right up the chute.
Let's have some pride and let's put one together. Let's go.
3 receivers fan out to the far side, 1 to the near, 1 back. The 1-back pistol. McCaffrey fumbles and lost it to the Saints at the 32-yard line. He never really had it seated.
And that's unfortunate. Finally getting the first down, some positive to where we were actually in field goal range. And sure enough, Malcolm Brown comes up with the fumble recovery.
Saints up 14-0. And the throw to the left side, intercepted. Boston couldn't hold it. He dropped it. But that was his ball at the 42.
It was right in your radius. I know. I had it. When I came down, he pushed it up.
1-back Armah. Greer fakes to him, throws an interception. A.J. Klein will take it into the end zone, untouched for the score. I thought that the Colts game couldn't get much worse, but this one here is one-sided. 21-0 Saints, 11:31 until halftime. Snap a little high. Greer's got it in duress. Deep trouble, spun down at the 17. The fallen Will Greer helped up and walking, favoring his right leg.
Yeah, Will Greer's got a foot injury, Mick. He's doubtful to return, though. Obviously, Kyle Allen will be checking back in.
Interesting to see how Allen will perform. 2 receivers to the near, McCaffrey to the far. Allen has McCaffrey open, 41-yard line. Cuts to the middle of the field, breaks a tackle, 35-30. McCaffrey hammered down at the 24.
He gave some life to this crowd. It seemed like everybody got on their feet because everybody wants him to break this record or become the 3rd person ever in the NFL for 1,000.
Here's a swing pass to McCaffrey out of the backfield left side. McCaffrey needs 22 yards receiving to go over 1,000, and he gets 7 of it there. 42-3, New Orleans on the scoreboard. Allen flush to the right. Rolling out, finds McCaffrey underneath to the 50, to the 45, McCaffrey to the 43.
Depending on the spot, that could be it. He needed 17.
That's close.
That might be right on it.
He joins the 1,000 club on that play. McCaffrey joins Marshall Faulk and Roger Craig.
Hey, I had to make sure you didn't get too many, you know what I mean? Congrats, buddy. Congrats, man. So proud of you. Thanks, man.
part of it. Appreciate you, brother.
Appreciate you, man.
You got it literally exactly. Yep. Love you, man. Hey, thanks for everything. You coach your ass off, man. I appreciate it. Appreciate you a lot better. I appreciate it.
No, it's hard now, and it's been a hard last couple of seasons. The best for the Panthers surely is yet to be. The two teams start towards midfield to say goodbye for one last time in 2019 with the final. Saints 42 and the Panthers 10.
And yeah, the season didn't end exactly how we wanted, but for the players, it's all about the journey and about playing for the other 52 men in the locker room.
The reality in this league is that at exit meetings and locker cleanout, it's the last time this group is going to ever be together in its entirety, and that's the annual reminder and the annual reality of the NFL.
I enjoyed the men in this locker room, the fans cheering, and just competition. I don't regret nothing that happened this year, man. I had a lot of fun, and I'm going to remember this season.
Just not letting this season go to waste individually as players. I think there's a lot of learning, especially for me, there's a lot of learning moments in the season. There's a lot of young guys that played a lot this year, and there's a lot of learning and teachable moments. And I think in years like this where you struggle and you grind and you really find out who you are as a player and as a person, is you can either go up or down with it. And I think that there's a lot of potential for a lot of people in this room to take this year and really leap off of it and compound and become really successful off this year and learning from mistakes and experiences. And so I think overall it's just, if you don't take anything from this year, shame on you,
We're just getting started on the huddle. When we come back, we go inside the locker room as players swap jerseys and say their final goodbyes. This exclusive presentation of the Carolina Panthers television network is brought to you by Power Home Solar and in part by Bank of America, official bank of the Carolina Panthers. Now, back to Panthers Huddle, brought to you by Power Home Solar.
Throughout our 25th season celebration, we've looked back at some pretty amazing Panther plays. But for this final clip, save the best for last. I want to take you back to 2003. We're in double overtime and a trip to the NFC Championship game is on the line. Steve Smith delivers the most memorable play in Panthers history.
As we start overtime, quarter number 2. Blitz again coming. Delone pumps. He's got time. Throws downfield. Smith at the 45 to the 40.
It's
Breaks
over.
free.
It's
20,
over.
10, 5. Touchdown!
Woo!
Touchdown, Steve Smith. 69 yards. And we are going to the NFC Championship game. What an incredible win.
Now, I bet when we get to our 50-year celebration, we'll still be talking about Steve Smith and the Rams. As we close out this season, Caroline Can takes us behind the scenes as the players clean out their lockers and talk about the all-important jersey swaps.
Well, I know swapping these jerseys, what do you have, who are you handing them out to?
So I got a jersey from KK, I'm getting a jersey from Trey, I'm getting a jersey from the coveted Christian.
I got Javian, I'm about to give James one, Trey Turner one, Dante one. I think me and Luke are gonna trade if he has enough. You know how Luke is.
The jerseys are precious. We got to be a pretty long-time teammate to get a jersey.
One day when my grandkids are in my man cave and they see James Bradbury on my wall, they're gonna be like, "Oh man, Dad, you play with James Bradbury? Oh, Granddad, oh man, you was really like that."
You have this goodie in there. This is a good jersey swap right here.
I want to hold it up like Lion King.
1-1, son. The 1-1 season, son.
How many jerseys do you have hanging up in the man cave right now?
See, I don't even have it hanging up. There's too many right now.
They're just leaning against the wall.
Like they're everywhere. Like they're It's too many.
Okay, so some guys in here, we've heard they have, 40 jerseys at home. Yeah, some of the older guys. But are you starting that collection? Is that what you want? You want just a whole wall in your man cave of jerseys?
Yeah, I mean, I mainly want guys I know. After that, I'll strive to get guys like Drew Brees and Aaron Rodgers and whatnot. But right now, I'm just focusing on the dudes I know.
Oldie but goodie. Found that. Haven't worn that in a while. The tight ends have asked me for a beanie for literally like 2 years. So I figured it was fitting to give them to them on the last day. Those guys are awesome.
What does this mean to you to be able to get all these guys this year instead of just the traditional jersey swap?
You get to look back at it and then you remember everyone, and it has the memories that you create with these people attached to that. It's more so of a sign of appreciation, a sign of respect. You don't know who's going to be back next season. You don't know who your teammate's going to be, so get it while you can.
It's one of the funnest seasons I've had in a long time. I don't regret anything.
Locker clean-out exit days are always tough, but it's always kind of the closing of one chapter and the start of another, and that's kind of the way you have to look at it.
Still to come on the Huddle, we break down the young stars of this Panthers team. Closed captioning for the Panthers television network is provided by Charlotte Eye, Ear, Nose, and Throat Associates, helping you enjoy the sights and sounds of the NFL all season long. Now, back to Panthers Huddle, brought to you by Power Home Solar.
Now that the 2019 season is behind us, we expect some pretty big changes moving forward. But this doesn't mean that this team doesn't have a young core of talented players. Panthers legend Kevin Donnelly and our Max Henson break down some young players who brought some pretty big-time plays in 2019.
Well, we know this offseason is going to involve a lot of change for this Carolina Panthers organization. But obviously, despite all the change, there are going to be some pieces that are going to be carrying forward from this current iteration of the team, moving into the next chapter. So Kevin, let's take a look at some of the intriguing young talent that exists on this roster, because as poorly as things went this year, there were some bright spots from what we saw from some of the young guys.
So this particular play here, what I want to focus on, DJ Moore, right up here, up top. We know he's a playmaker, quietly had an outstanding receiving season. DJ comes right underneath that, and just a beautifully designed play that gets him in open space, and I absolutely love this. And hopefully, they bolster that line next year. That's the kind of plays we're going to see.
Who else we want to take a look at here? Our next game.
We're talking young
talent. We'll stay in Arizona. And look, Dante Jackson, he's got all the tools to be a top corner in this league. This play is indicative of it, is it not?
It's just the sheer athleticism, the quickness he possesses, the way he's just a hawk, for this ball. He goes after it all the time. Boom! I mean, what is he, like 7 feet in the air? He's over the height of this man. It's just remarkable to me. The sky's the limit for him too. I really like him as a player.
Let's move into our next guy here. Take a look at this Jacksonville game. And this is what Brian Birds told me after this locker cleanout day was his favorite play of the year, and you can understand why.
This is crazy, all right? Because first you want to dial in right here. And this is Mario, he's 32. But still getting it done against Andrew Norwell, former Panther.
Yep.
But the key is what he's able to do right here enables Burns to do what we've wanted out of a defensive end with speed and explosion. So we'll let this play go and you'll see how it sets up Burns for a great play. But Mario here turns this little thing into a bull rush, catches him off guard, and basically forces Norwell to knock the ball out. Just in one clean motion, my man picks it up, scores, and makes it look easy.
Let's go to our next play here. I think we're going to stay with this Jacksonville game. Yep, we are. And we're going to see what was the longest run of the year for Christian McCaffrey. You may have heard of him. He's decent.
And this is what I love, is just the slipperiness of him and then the explosion. The blocking's there. Sees the crease. He's gone. I mean, he's gone. Right here, I mean, he's like, man, I'm done. It's a one-play drive. This was a one-play drive. First play. These guys, I'm like, you got to watch them, because as Christian goes down the field, let's see if any of these guys run down there to celebrate. I've been in that position. Steve Smith caught the 69-yarder.
Look at young Dennis Daly.
Pause it there. Yeah, that's young legs right there. Dennis, he's the closest one, but he's still 20 yards behind.
We're going to stay in the Jacksonville game. Why not? This is a good one for Carolina, as you can tell. And the young edge rushers, this one is Brian Burns and Marquise Haynes combining.
Both of them are working in unison to make this a great turnover. So you see Burns, he stays after it. There's a little bit of time. Minshew's trying to scramble, and then here, Burns with the closing speed. You see he takes the swipe at this, gets it out. Who's there but Haynes finds a way to pick it up, stay active, and watch this. He starts to get some yards downfield. And that's got to leave you hopeful because that's two young speed rushers, and these two young guys compiled some of those, so it's great to see that these guys will be here next year and causing some damage.
Yeah, I think that was Burns' most impressive play of the year. Not only get the quarterback, but to get the ball out.
This game against the Titans, we're going to look right here at our receiver, and this is Curtis Samuel. Really nicely thrown ball, and he lets Samuel do his thing. The defender is all over him right here. He's trying to pull this thing in. And it again shows if you give time up front, whoever the quarterback here is in Carolina, there's playmakers to get some stuff done.
One other thing you saw was the amount of separation he created. So we've seen the tape shows Curtis is getting open.
Yeah.
It's a matter of getting him the ball and allowing him to do his thing.
No, you're right. And you look at all these young players, it really is about getting set up in situations where they can thrive. And so it's up to that next staff coming in here to really make those changes, I think, and do the things that highlight their abilities, get it done. There'll be a lot of production.
Yeah, there's some young pieces, as we just showed you. We'll see how they can grow and improve in 2020 and beyond.
Coming up on The Huddle, Panthers legend Steve Smith is keeping his legacy going by giving back to the community. This exclusive presentation of the Carolina Panthers television network is brought to you by Power Home Solar and in part by Bank of America, official bank of the Carolina Panthers.
Now, another high point that should be remembered is the introduction of the Hall of Honor this year. Panthers legend Steve Smith will forever be remembered for his play on the field. Now, post-playing career, Smitty is extremely active in the community and hopes to make a greater impact there than he ever did on the field.
Now, I'm doing this interview because it gives the opportunity so the city of Charlotte see what I do. Most of the time, I don't want any cameras. I don't want it to come across and seem like I'm doing it for a pat on the back. I really feel like it's redemptive time, redeemable time, to pay it forward for the same way people who paid it forward to me. This used to be a dentist's office, and we bought this, and so we turned this into a medical clinic. Now we're here in a little old building that serves about 4,000 people. It doesn't look like a medical clinic, and that's the whole purpose because it feels like a home. So when people come in here, they're not getting poked and prodded or talked to or talked at, they're getting loved on. And so it's a beautiful home, and it's serving a ton of people. There are 22,000 people that are in low income who are looking for housing, and they don't have help. So we're trying to figure it out. How can we help these people and make them feel loved and not also make them feel like they're being exploited? When we went to Charlotte Family Housing, one of the things that we love, why I love doing this, I know what the process is. I know what it's like to be trying to figure out where you're gonna live, where you're gonna eat. So for me, I'm doing it because I've lived through it and I know the impact. I've lived it. One of the biggest things for me is I want my kids to say that my daddy made me proud. This is also a legacy for me, a legacy for my family. I left an imprint on this city in football. I want to leave an imprint on this city for hard work.
We've run out of time this week. On behalf of Kevin, Max, Caroline, and the entire Huddle team, we want to thank you, the fans, for tuning in this season. And remember, no matter what, keep pounding. We'll catch you right back here next time on Inside Panthers Huddle.
You've been watching the Panthers Huddle, a copyrighted presentation of the Carolina Panthers and the NFL.